We will start with a very short presentation of the project and also the network. Then Bioenergy Europe and Rural Bioeconomy Alliances were very kind to also help us with the promotion of this event, and they will give you a very short presentation, and then we will start with the presentation of this innovative practice. We have divided it into blocks. The first one related to practice related to the obtaining and procurement of biomass, and the second block devoted to the transformation of this biomass into bioenergy and other bioproducts. Okay, and then as I already mentioned, we will have some time for questions in the course of the session. So, as I mentioned, very quick regarding the branches project is a project that intends to increase the flow of information, this transfer of information, but also ideas and technologies among European stakeholders, especially agriculture and forestry professionals, and with a special focus in rural areas. How we tend to do this, let's say that the core of the project is devoted to the creation and development of 5 national thematic networks in Finland, Poland, Germany, Italy, and Spain. But also we report, we summarize and share this existing best practice research and results from research in form of practice abstracts that are uploaded and shared through the networks and also in the project webpage. We also showcase success stories and organize, of course, events and workshops. Okay. So far, we already have, next slide, please, Daniel. We already have shared in the project webpage 47 practice abstracts that are well documented with also additional information, videos, press release, and so on. And some of them are translated into national language. We do share a press release. We do have a newsletter that we publish with a certain frequency according to the new events and practice that we have written, reported, and summarized. And also we do have a YouTube channel in which videos are uploaded. And of course, as I mentioned, we have performed different type of events and workshops and showcases and so on. Very briefly, as I mentioned, 5 main countries are involved in the project. In Spain, we have Avebiom and CERTH, and then we have the national thematic networks that have been created for Italy, Poland, Germany, and Finland, but also those, let's say, those countries are working with collaborator countries, which are Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and in the case of Spain, we are collaborating with Portugal. We do have created these national networks. The links to those networks are available at the project webpage, so you can check what is produced and shared in each one of them. Coming back to the Spanish network, as I mentioned, they are managed by Avebiom and CERTH. Very, very quick about CERTH. It's a technology center. We have different type of projects related to different business lines on renewable energies, electrical grids, smart mobility, industry, energy efficiency, but also circular economy and sustainability. We participate in European projects. We currently have 74 Horizon 2020 projects, 22 of them coordinated, and 31 Horizon Europe projects, 7 of them coordinated. We also carry out training courses, and we do have 8 patents, and we, of course, perform also private projects. That was very quick for today. Now, if you may, Avebiom will take the role and present himself and what we do with the national thematic network in Spain.
About the Avebiom, we are the other Spanish partner into branches project, also co-organizer of this event today. And we have, we dedicate to the promotion of sustainable biomass in Spain. We organize the renewable saloon of the saloon of the renewable gas and the Expo Biomass Affairs. Both are referential in Spain. The next one, on the renewable gas, is as a matter of fact, on the 3rd and 4th of October. We invite you everyone to be there. Also, we promote divulgation with our own means, as you see in the screen. We perform actions of market and biomass certification, also observatory of the sector, observatory of the prices, and sustainability certification, SURE. And we also perform actions of innovations like in this project and this type of webinars. The management team is Avebiom and CERTH, the persons you see there, but also we also count on with an advisory board of key actors, including forestry and agri-food Spanish associations, also technology transfer organizations like CTA or the Institute for the Competitiveness of Castilla y León, or Excellence Research Center, CEDER-CIEMAT. In respect what we do in the reporting of practice abstracts, so existing practice that are currently already in practice, we have documented already 9 in Spain, and 5 more are coming. You can access in the link there. As you see, 3 of them we have today as speakers. Secondly, what we document is not just the practice abstract, like 2 pages thing, but also we include videos, pictures, other documentation, useful links. So that is a kind of a one-stop shop for people to see what are the dimensions of this innovation, to understand better how it is for replication. Also, we work in finding new ideas and innovations, and we have organized 2 contests, one in 2022 for the best innovative practice. It was in a total of 25 participants, 2 winners and 3 honor members, and today we have 2 of the winners with their corresponding speeches. And the contest in 2023, 18 innovative practice have participated, and among them 1 winner we have as well today, Monte Holiday Ecoturismo, as speaker. About also we do this type of workshops and territorial actions. The nice thing is, after 2 workshops in April and in 2022 and 2023, we have established the incipient start of an interregional community for exchange of knowledge in bioeconomy in the Ebro Valley. So this is an achievement of the project. And also we have performed workshops for the transfer of solutions in different events with total more than 200 attendants. And also we have collaborated in the cross-border transfer with CBE, for example, in Portugal, to share the abstracts, to see what were more interesting, to translate the most interesting. And also we counted with their visit in a couple of workshops. And also they will present today one of the practice they detected in Portugal. And another way of doing this cross-border transfer is what we are doing today. Basically, this webinar where we are showing these 8 practices from Spain and Portugal to be known and to be, because they may inspire other initiatives in other countries. That's what we are doing today. In branches, there were 5. Still, the one from Germany on the 12th of October is coming in next month. We, in this collaboration cross-border, we are not alone, not only the project partners. we are engaged with other organizations. And today, as a matter of fact, we have been supported in the dissemination by Bioenergy Europe and by the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance, as well as by the EUCAP network. Today, we have two key notes from these organizations, Bioenergy Europe and the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. This is all. So next would be to invite the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance, Dimitris Michas. So Dimitris Michas is agricultural engineer with Master Science in Natural Resources Development and Agricultural Engineering. He works in the Institute for Bioeconomy and Agri-Technology, which is a non-profit research and technological development organization in Greece, also linked one of the institutes of CERTH. And he's participating in bioeconomy initiatives like BioRural project, and is today representing the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. So thank you for being today here in representation of Rural Bioeconomy Alliance, and tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel, also for the presentation. Thank you for the invitation here to this meeting. I would like to say good morning to everyone, and I would like to give me the floor in order to make a short presentation about the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. As Daniel said, I'm Dimitris Michas, as you can see. I'm here to present the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. This is a cluster that we managed to develop with some participating projects in the rural area. More or less, the presentation has to do with the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance, the main goals of this cluster, the areas of collaboration, the upcoming activities that we are doing right now, and also I'm going to say some words about the participating projects that we have in this cluster so far. The main focus of this cluster is on accelerating and supporting the development of circular rural bioeconomy initiatives in the European Union. This cluster was launched on May 31st in a CUPID bioeconomy conference that took place in Brussels. On May 31st. It was an important date for us, and also we had the opportunity there to participate and to launch this cluster. Basically, it is an alliance between European funding projects that support the development of rural circular bioeconomy initiatives in the European Union, and all the participating projects so far have to do all with actions in the rural bioeconomy. So the focus has to do with the development of bioeconomy in rural areas, basically. So the main goals of these clusters have to do with accelerating the development of the whole bioeconomy, investigate, develop, and analyze bioeconomy success stories from all these participating projects or different practices, pilots, and including ways to increase the adoption of circular bioeconomy concept. Also, increase the adoption of circular bioeconomy concept, and something that is very important to share all this knowledge between all these participating projects when we have some outcomes in order to provide. But also, I would like to mention that one of the important goals of this cluster is the dissemination and communication activities that we are doing and that we're going to do in the future. As for the areas of collaboration, as you can see, we have some common organization about events, about workshops. We're going to have to present some success stories from these participating projects that we believe that have to do and can give us some outcomes. Of course, we're going to have the exchange of knowledge and insights, and also for the dissemination part, we're going to share cross-post information of the project results, events, and also would like to tell you that we have already developed the LinkedIn account as a social media of the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. So I would like you to follow this account so you can be tuned and you can see the upcoming events and all the stuff that's going to be uploaded there. I would like also to tell you that we are trying to parallel some web pages as some upcoming activities. We're going to develop some shared online space for easy access to all the public project toolkits and platforms. We are managed to have every month a meeting, so we know the upcoming goals, the upcoming steps, and how we are going so far. We have already done our first monthly meeting, and then we are going to develop some dissemination material to all the participating projects, so we can have the same dissemination activities. As for the participating projects so far, you can see that we have 11 projects so far, but we are thinking on putting one or two projects that we believe that can give us some outcomes, and they want also to collaborate and participate in this cluster. So some words about the projects that so far participating in this cluster. We have BioRural, which is a Horizon project that has to do with the creation of a European rural bioeconomy network to promote small-scale bio-based solutions in rural areas and to support the transition towards a sustainable, regenerative, inclusive, and just circular bioeconomy across all Europe at local and regional scales. I would like to say that in this project also we are collaborating with Avebiom. We have Relief, which is an Erasmus project that has to do with the potential of higher education and vocational education training models to provide new training approaches, innovative learning materials, and training practices in the field of bioeconomy. In order to open new learning opportunities to the bioeconomy and the practices in farming. So more or less has to do with education of farmers, of companies that are based on the rural area. Here we have P2 Green that has to do with some technologies that have already been developed in some pilot regions in Europe, and we are trying now to see the level of implementation of these technologies in 4 following regions also in Europe, and more or less has to do with the circle of nutrients from the farm and coming to our plate. Mainstream Bio, another project that has to do with the contribution towards bringing small-scale bio-based solutions into mainstream across rural Europe, and will establish regional multi-actor structures for demand-driven innovation and deliver a combination of innovation support services, decision support system, and several practical digital tools. We have a biomodel for regions that has to do with the development of innovative governance models at regional and local level, and also that will support the development of bio-based economy strategies. We have a rural bio app that support regional actors to develop local bio-based solutions, and this has to do with 9 regional hubs in 6 different European countries. We have Sapien Bio that aims to provide evidence-based and concrete information and recommendations for better policy aligned to end stakeholders to analyze across sectoral potentials of the bioeconomy and to reduce fragmentation across bio-based sector and food systems, also with policies across regions. Here we have a Seed2Act project, which the object of this project is to empower 10 target countries in Central and Eastern Europe to develop bioeconomy strategies, action plans through knowledge transfer and the adoption of innovative governance models from contributing countries with a more advanced bioeconomy policy. Here we have Robin, that is based in 5 different countries in Europe, and will actively engage regional actors in order to co-creation of governance models, practices to overcome barriers and seize opportunities. And this is Scale Up, which is the last participating project that also is based on 6 European pilot regions, and will create a fully exploited sustainable bioeconomy across European regions. These are the logos of the participating projects to go together with our logo, the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. As you saw, all the participating projects are working with different actions and different plans in the rural bioeconomy. And I would like to say that so far we are having a very good collaboration between all these participating projects. And I would like to tell you that in the upcoming days, we will also have some other social media. The email of the Rural Bioeconomy is now on. Also, the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance will coordinate to multiply online European actions, European webinars, and I would like you, in order to stay tuned, to follow the accounts of Rural Bioeconomy Alliance in the social media. So thank you, Daniel, for the opportunity to present also the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. Thank you very much.
It has been a pleasure. It was a little bit slow, so thank you very much. And the message is that this Rural Bioeconomy Alliance will continue organizing dissemination actions. And so you please don't, if you are interested in those topics, don't forget to follow up this this initiative that also will organize webinars like we are doing today with branches. So the next in the row would be Manolis Karampinis from Bioenergy Europe. Bioenergy Europe has as well collaborated in the organization, in the dissemination of this webinar. So we do thank as well Bioenergy Europe. And today we have with us Manolis Karampinis, who is Director, Business Development and Membership Department in Bioenergy Europe. He previously worked as research associate at the Center of Research and Technology Hellas, CERTH in Greece, during 16 years. He has participated in countless EU projects and initiatives. He has very linked to research. We have worked in the past together, and probably many of you as well know from previous experiences. So we have the honor to have him today to give us a keynote on bioenergy.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction and for the invitation to MIDER as well. Indeed, I think I know several of the people in the room, especially the presenters. I've had the chance to see them in Expo Biomasa, for example, quite recently. So it's been an honor to be here in this event. As Bioenergy Europe, we really believe in innovative bioenergy solutions within the wider bioeconomy. And most of, I don't think I need to tell you that the bioenergy solutions are mostly local solutions. So we really need to understand what is happening on the local, on the regional, on the national scene, and these are the examples that we also want to promote as a sector. I have prepared a few slides for today's events, but as you will see there at the end of the day, it's mostly a call for action, and I will explain what I mean very, very shortly. But first, a few things about Bioenergy Europe. Bioenergy Europe is the common voice of European bioenergy since 1990. We are a members-based organization, so we bring together around 40 national associations from different member states in Europe. Avebiom, for example, is one such a member, and around 114 companies which represent all steps in the bioenergy value chain, from fuel producers to traders, to equipment providers and users, consultancy and engineering firms, as well as a few research and academic partners. We are hosting within the association the European Pellet Council. This is a network of the national pellet associations, and we are active in 2 certification schemes, EN Plus for the premium pellets, fuel quality certification, and SURE is the system that we have been involved in regarding the sustainability certification of biomass as regards the requirements of the Renewable Energy Director. What we are doing, of course, our primary focus is the EU policy monitoring and influencing, what you could call advocacy or lobbying in some other terms, regarding the bioenergy sector in Brussels. We are also active in market data and market intelligence, but of course also visibility, networking, and event access for our members. If you want to learn more about our activities, please go to our website or do not hesitate to contact me directly. I would like to share with you a slide, or actually a graph, a figure from a quite recent publication from IRENA, the World Energy Transitions Outlook 2023 report, which highlights how the future energy mixture is expected to look like globally if we are to keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius pathway for the future. And what has been very, very interesting for me to see is that by 2050, the role of biomass in the global energy system, what we call actually modern biomass, so excluding, let's say, traditional uses of biomass for cooking or very rudimentary space heating solutions, will be 16% of the total energy mixture. And if you look, for example, at hydrogen, which is going to be undeniably a very important component in the future energy mixture, is going to be 14%. So bioenergy would be a little higher even than hydrogen. And if you look at the details of the reports, it's undeniable that bioenergy will play a key role in the energy transition. Bioenergy would need some kind of policy support, and that countries would need to have regulations and certification regarding sustainability. But also the bioenergy deployment should be based on the local context and also coordinated with other sectoral strategies, meaning, for example, that bioenergy is not a sector that happens in vitro and totally independent from others, but has to be coordinated with developments in the forest management strategies, in the agri-food strategies, and others. So the question, let's say the pathway is there from IRENA, but would the EU policy for bioenergy be really enabling for its future role in the energy system? And here, as an association, I think we have some rooms for complaint, let's say. For those of you that follow our activities or the EU policy in general, you might be aware that there are many, many directives and regulations which have an influence one way or another in bioenergy sector development. I've listed here a few of the key policy files that we have been monitoring in the last years. Of course, a very, very important one for us, and that has taken a big part of our activities, has been the Renewable Energy Directive, the RED III, for which we have a deal in principle since the end of March, and we expect the final vote to take place quite soon. But there are also other things that are relevant, such as the carbon removal certification framework, which will pave the way for the carbon removals that are needed to reach net zero Europe. And actually, CCS, for example, coupled with bioenergy, will play a key role. And we have to see, for example, what is the role of biochar in this carbon removal certification framework. But the one that I want to focus a bit more today is the Net Zero Industrial Act, or the so-called NZIA, not a very easy to pronounce acronym sometimes, which is like the response of the European Union to the Zero Inflation Act, if I remember its name correctly, from the USA, and the main means of promoting the deployment of the renewable energy sector technologies in Europe. But before going to that, an important note about EU industry leadership when it comes to bioenergy. We recently played a bit with some figures and some data that are coming from Bioenergy International. It's a leading international publication about the bioenergy sector, and they have on the website a list of global suppliers of bioenergy equipment. We use a slightly older version from 2018 because it was a bit easier to work with. But when we analyzed, let's say, the geographical origin of the equipment manufacturers, we found that 70% of them are actually based in the EU, and the other 30% is coming from North America, from China, and from other countries. So for us, it's undeniable that we do have a technological leadership in bioenergy industry, and I think the examples we'll hear in the webinar today really showcase this. So is bioenergy part of the strategic technologies of the Net Zero Industry Act? At the moment, and from the first proposal that we have from the European Commission, no, We do have sustainable biogas and biomethane technologies. We have carbon capture and storage technologies, so I guess the fossil-based ones. But bioenergy, despite the fact that it's a renewable and carbon neutral solution, despite the fact that it's a storable solution, a job provider on the local setting, locally available and manufacturing in the EU, is not listed among the NZIA priorities or strategic technologies. So, as part of our activities, we have taken some action there. One of the very, very concrete things that we did is that on the 6th of June, we had a meeting with Thierry Breton. He's the commissioner responsible for the internal market and the person who is, let's say, on the lead from the European Commission side on the Net Zero Industry Act. And we brought together with us some of our members, so most of them CEOs. You can see, for example, here their logos. So we have equipment providers mostly, like Syncraft, who is working on gasification solutions, Turboden with ORC technologies, Palazzetti and Windhager on pellet stoves and boilers, respectively, ONF Energy, a big, let's say, forest enterprise in France producing wood chips, firewood, and other fuel assortments, and Loast, which is a lime industry actually, and one that is very much looking into biomass for its decarbonization in the future. So the meeting was quite productive, and I think we managed to give some of our arguments, and they were understood. And the other thing, and the call to action I mentioned at the beginning, in parallel with this meeting, we have drafted an open letter which is addressed to the European Commission, the European Parliament, and all the other EU policymakers to support the inclusion of bioenergy in the Net Zero Industry Act. At the moment, we have more than 140 signatories from all over Europe. We would like to have definitely more from Spain, Portugal, but from wherever you are. So I would very much encourage you to either sign it directly or to bring it to the attention of your CEOs and encourage them to sign. You can find more details on our website, and I will put also on the chat the link to the yacht form and to the letter. And I think that's all from my side. And again, many thanks for your attention, your time, and for the invitation, Daniel Meiler.
Thank you very much, Manolis. I think there is a message there. It's important this supporting to show the people in the policy that bioenergy is our need and a reality in the rural areas and also in the industry. We need to continue promoting new and clean and modern forms of bioenergy solutions. And this is one of the things we will see now in the next examples, as a matter of fact. So thank you very much for being here and for also supporting the webinar. And now we will start with the innovative practices. And the first block, the first part, is about obtaining and treating biomass. Antonio Gonzalo is owner of and CEO of Monte Holiday Ecotourism Resort in the Sierra de Madrid area, and is the main promoter of a self-sufficient energy resort using solar energy, but also biomass from prevention works in the area. That's what he's going to present today. Just add that he's forest engineer as well and has a background in forestry and innovation, as he worked as responsible of communication and marketing in the Center for Innovation of Forestry in Castilla-León region. So go ahead, and I think it's a very interesting case. As a matter of fact, is the winner of the award to the best innovative practice this year of INtercamBIOM and branches in Spain. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Daniel, Maider. Welcome to this webinar, everybody. How many of you are worried about forest fires? Last time I asked the question, it was nearly 100%. We are really concerned about forest fires because we have a 27-hectare campsite with treetop cabins, ecologies, bungalows in a Mediterranean forest. We have a capacity of 1,200 people. We are also owner of a 250-hectare land surrounding Monte Holiday. In Monte Holiday, we have fire extinguishers, a 3-case high-pressure pipeline around the perimeter of the campsite, an autonomous pump, and many other equipment. Here, you can see the last work we did. You can see the campsite here in the black line. We have made a self-protection plan in order to identify the areas of fire risk. We overlaid the map of vegetation, slopes, wind direction and velocity, and a historical record of fires in our vicinity. We realized that the riskiest areas are outside Monte Holiday, not inside Monte Holiday. These areas are marked in orange and red. And you can see the road here and here and here. Most of the risks are coming from the road. It is important to note that firefighters cannot combat forest fires that produce more than 10,000 kilowatts per meter of fire line. It's impossible to attack a fire with this amount of energy. This energy is produced from a forest with 10 tons per hectare biomass, and we have surrounding the campsite, the area, over 70 tons per hectare. In this picture, you can see in red arrows the risk coming from the road, which is here, and the wind direction. The yellow arrow shows the change in the wind direction surrounding Monte Holiday because of the thermal activity on a slope. As you can see, there is a real risk of fire. 11 years ago, we built a district heating with a 150 kilowatt biomass boiler that uses wood chips, G30, mainly from distant pine forest. This is a picture of the district heating biomass and solar thermal, because it's hybrid with solar thermal, that serves 2 swimming pools, a restaurant, 2 toilet buildings, bungalows, and eco lodges. After 10 years, we needed to add more power to the district heating, so we decided to install a new boiler that uses the excess of biomass in the interface. We were spending around 30,000 euros per year on buying biomass outside, coming from dealers. Now, this money goes to the surrounding forest. You can see here the kind of forest we have around here, and you can see here the packs of biomass we are getting from the forest. We are mainly using Mediterranean oak, Quercus ilex, and 2 kinds of junipers. Biomass generated from pruning in Monte Holiday. And this is the boiler room from the swimming pool area. The silos here, we have 2 different silos, and the 6 cubic meter tanks of water. This is the biomass boiler. It's a 500 kilowatt biomass boiler made in Austria. It's controlled by a video camera that adapts the boiler to different kind of biomass sizes and moisture. The entire district heating and other components are digitally controlled using IoT technology. So for our staff, it's very easy to control the whole network. So this is a summary of the project. We invest around 30,000 euros, and it's supported by the Next Generation funds on a 25%. So because we are really worried about forest fires, we asked the question, how do we align against forest fires? We have found that the self-protection plan is the key to protect the urban forest interface. The interface to protect the people of the villages, campgrounds, people living in the forest, is very important to adapt the environmental legislation to prevent the risk, fire risk in the interface. Nowadays we have the support of the firefighters, but not the environmental department. Why? Because they don't have the tools. The legislation has to be adapted to the new era of 6th generation forest fires. Second, silvicultural treatments in public forests within the interface should have priority of investment and action. Usually, the investment, the public fundings are equally distributed, even if they are far away from the interface. And our way of thinking is that people has to be protected. So this money has to be in number one preferences to the interface. Third, private forests in the interface should have better scoring for public subsidies. It happens that if a forest owner like us wants to get some money from public subsidies to maintain and keep the interface, we don't get the same scoring as if we will have a natural area, for example, with different other protections. The energy use of biomass from private forest in the interface should receive better scoring for public subsidies. We also think that it's better to burn in a controlled boiler biomass rather than burn in the open air. It's obvious, all of us, we can understand this idea. Rewilding is another thing that is being widely talked in the European Union, but we think that rewilding is possible in that phase due to the risk of forest fires. We should come back to the traditional uses of the grounds around the villages, because they protect the villages. We need more investment. One example of a source of co-financing could be fire prevention as a carbon sequestration. If we are able to prove that it's better to prevent rather than emit a lot of tons of CO2, maybe we should be able to attract more money to our forest, mainly in the interface. So now we are aware of the risks. We have the knowledge, the equipment, and the will to protect the families coming to Monte Holiday Ecoturismo. The people, for us, is the priority. We think it's time to take action to align against forest fires. And we invite you to come here to have a look to our project. These are our partners. This is my contact. Thank you very much again, Daniel, Maiden, and everyone for letting me explain this case that we think is replicable in many, many cases all over Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio, very much. And I think it's a great success case, probably inspiring other resorts to do something similar, working locally, working in rural, and doing a circular economy. I know from Antonio there are many other details, much more maybe to talk for half an hour, but it's really an interesting case, and we will publish documentation in INtercamBIOM and branches. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we have with us Andre Pires. Andre Pires works as environmental engineer at the Technology Center CBE, Centro da Biomasa para Energia, in Portugal. He is well involved in other initiatives in the promotion of bioeconomy, like the project BioRural, which is one in the Rural Bioeconomy Alliance. And he's presenting an interesting case that he have captured in Portugal. So please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Daniel, for the presentation and for inviting me. I'm very glad to be doing this presentation. And the innovative practice that I'm sharing with you today is about recycling forest residues from fire prevention in a Portuguese municipality called Viseu. As you probably know, there is a great problem in Portugal every year with rural fires. And the most frequent causes, as you can see here on the left, The most frequent causes are firstly arsonism, and second the burning of forest and agricultural residues. So how come this burning of residues is such a big cause? Well, because by law in Portugal, the owners of forested properties are obliged to clean their lands by removing the fuel load, that is forest residues, always for the same reason, for preventing rural fires. And once they've cleaned their lands, they need to eliminate those resultant residues, as do farmers have also to eliminate their agricultural residues. And because in most cases there's not an alternative solution, this frequently leads to burnings on site, which in its turn often results in rural fires. However, an alternative solution exists, and it is even able to address other problems besides the fires, such as dispersed raw materials, transportation costs, energetic dependency and inefficiency, sorry, and abandonment of rural areas and unemployment. So the solution is the implementation of biomass collection sites, which provide sites for biomass disposal near the rural populations as an incentive for the owners to remove the fuel load existent in their forest stands. Sorry. And also as an incentive for increasing the interest in the primary sector activities. They also concentrate the residual raw materials in order to improve the effectiveness of the pre-treatment industrial equipments. Another goal of these sites is the valorization of woody biomass by transforming it in easy handling and of easy transportation solid biofuel. And lastly, they regulate the supplied quantities of biomass, adjusting supply and demand. Now, CBE has worked directly with the specific case of Viseu, where the municipality has installed since 2019 biomass collection sites, allowing the populations to deposit forest and agriculture residues extracted from their properties, and thus avoiding their burning on site. These sites are located in 3 different locations. One of them, Budiosa, has already collected 1,200 tons of forest residue since 2019, which represented for them a revenue of 10,000 euros. The local councils, which also use these sites to deposit public greeneries and forest residues from their own properties, are responsible for transporting the biomass collected to the biomass power plant of Viseu, where it is processed and consumed. The revenue obtained by selling the biomass is then used by these local councils to promote the development of those regions. As for other cases, there are already implementing this solution. I have 3 of them here, but although there are more in Portugal. First one, biomass parks and loaders of Penacova. Started with a partnership between the municipality of Penacova and Altri Florestal, which is an important actor in the forestry sector in Portugal. The goal here is basically the same, to preventing rural fires by creating sites for the deposit of biomass of forestry and agriculture, with a special attention being given here to the maintenance of the road network inside the forests. This was an important initiative in this municipality, because this is a territory that is covered, that is over 50% of its territory. It's covered by forests. So there are already 9 parks installed, and the biomass collected is then transported by Altri, and it is consumed in their power plants. The second one, Biomilling Center of Braga, is a different concept. That's why I chose this one. It was born from a partnership between the municipality of Braga and Braval, which is a company of solid residues treatment. This initiative provides 2 millers. 2 millers that can be used by the producers of the residual biomass, that can be used freely by them in their own properties. and therefore reducing by 40% the number of burnings on site. And then the processed biomass is distributed to those same producers to be used as fertilizer. So it's a different concept than the other ones. This third one is the same. The concept biomass collection sites of Arcos Valvez they are a network of biomass parks distributed across the municipality territory. As I said, the goal is the same: is to prevent rural fires by providing sites for the populations to deposit their forest residues. There are already 3 sites, 3 parks installed, although the municipality still aims to create some more. Lastly, as you can see from the specific case of Viseu and these other examples, the solution is easily replicable. So it usually starts with a partnership between public entities such as municipalities or local councils, and private entities that use biomass as a raw material, such as wood-based industries, biomass power plants, or thermal energy consumers, either of the industry or the services sector. The goal is to create biomass parks that can either be meant only for collection of biomass or for its processing as well. Then these biomass parks can be used by foresters, farmers, or the general public for them to deposit the residues they generate instead of burning them, basically. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
So we do really thank you, Andre, for bringing this interesting small-scale collaborative practice in the gathering of biomass debris from the different systems in rural areas in Portugal. I know this is for sure applicable to several villages and municipalities in Spain. Hope also in Spain in other countries. So, and now we go to the next speaker. We have Sergio Peña. So Sergio Peña is mechanical engineer by the University of Zaragoza, working at SERRAT Trituradoras for more than 20 years. He is in charge of the prototyping and the development of new machinery, and has been behind the design of the machineries like we are seeing today for obtaining biomass in an optimized way from fruit plantation removals. So please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, good morning to everyone. My name is Sergio Peña, and I'm going to introduce you our methodology to fruit tree plantation removals. And SERRAT Marshals is the company I work. Is a Spanish company. Is dedicated to the manufacturing of forestry and agricultural grinding machines, industrial gardening, and public works. The company was founded on 1998, and nowadays we work here more than 70 qualified employees. Our factory is equipped with more than 5,000 square meters covered. Okay, for more than 20 years, SERRAT has developed equipment for gathering agricultural and forestry biomass. We are orientated to solve a specific operation, and we try to match a market needs or solve an existing problem. So what is the problem? In Spain, we have 1.5 million hectares of fruit tree. Among them, 500,000 hectares of palm fruit, stone fruit, and citrus. The cropping cycle is getting shorter, and now it can be even in 8 or 10 years. When a plantation is terminated, there are a lot of costs of uprooting and restoring the field. The uproot their routing is very cost, and the biomass from the roots are bad quality and low price. The result, there are high costs for the farmers to restoring the plantation, and the price you get from the biomass is very low. Okay, what SERRAT have as a methodology of work, we have a 3 steps methodology. The first step we make with our interpicket high cut. We need a tractor from 70 to 105 horsepower. It can cut up to 200 millimeter diameter, and it has a mechanical transmission, and it can work on average for 2 hours per hectare. Now I show you a short video so you can see the machine working. Okay. So I think the video is the best way to show you the machine and to explain the methodology. Okay. So you can see how this machine cuts the trees, the speeds, the speed that the machine cuts those trees. Okay. I think it's our biomass 400. It needs a tractor from 300 to 500 horsepower. It can mulch up to 200.5 millimeters diameter of trunk tree. It brings our start system HydroHelp that helps that system helps the tractor to start the machines. It can launch a 4-meter high, and the wood chips can be used as fuel in a biomass boiler. It works on average 2.5 hours per hectare. Now I show you the video. Okay. As you can see, it mulches the whole tree. As it is cut from the interpicket high cut, it mulches. Okay, our third step is our totem 4. The tractor that is needed is from 200 to 350 horsepower. It can depth up to 500 millimeters and integrates the stumps into soil and leaves the field ready for the next planting. We do this work on average on 2.7 hours per hectare. So there it goes, the next video. Okay, ready. Here you can see both second and third step at the same time. Even can work the 3 steps at the same time. Okay. I think the videos are very clear about what we propose as a methodology. So you can see all the process here. Okay, I think it's over. So in this photo, I can show you all the process, the plantation cut, the biomass already extracted by the biomass 400, here in this row, and here is the how the stump is it's been integrated into soil by the totem 4. And with this photo, I want to show you that is not a dream. This process that is reality. We are already working on that. We have almost 2,000 tons of biomass produced. So I can here you can compare this big car with the amount of biomass. Okay. Which are the advantages of this process? The farmer, you can close a contract for a complex service. You achieve good quality biomass. It has between 20 and 30 tons per star of fresh biomass. It has low effects on soil, and the stumps mulched are incorporated into soil. Which is the most important advantage for the farmer is that he can save time and money. Here we say that up to 50%, but I think can even be more. Okay. In this sheet, I want to show you where and who can get this methodology. We think that you will need an area with high concentration of fruit tree plantation. That's ideal for service company or big farm exploitation that manage a large amount of hectares. It's important that the companies have already several tractors and machinery to reduce initial investment. So that is what we think that is important for the establishment. And the last sheet is I want to share to you that this methodology in Bologna Fair EIRMA, we get a special mention for that. So I think that's all. Thank you very much to all. Thank you to Daniela and Maider.
Very interesting, and very interesting also the specific data you give that is really important for replication and for evaluating if that this practice is replicable and feasible.
Yes,
so
yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
thank you.
then we go to the next presenter, the last in the first part, with Omar Fernandez. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, everybody. And thank you very much for your invitation to participate in this interesting event.
Okay, Omar Fernandez is biologist by the University of Granada with Master in Innovation Management and Biotechnology. He is currently Managing Director at ATHISA Biogeneración Group and responsible of research and development at ATHISA Group. What to say that he has participated in the development of solutions for complex biomass like prunings and as a matter of fact, he has participated with ATHISA in this Pellets de la Mancha initiative that was starting producing pellets and afterwards also wood, shred wood material for bioenergy and other uses. And so they have a long career in the use of this type of biomasses. And now he has been working in the innovation that he's going to present now. So go ahead, Omar.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. As you said, we have a long experience on agricultural biomass management. And today I'm going to present our management model and the technology that we developed to clean the agricultural biomass coming from vineyard prunings, and also for plant tree removal, plantations removals. Well, ATHISA Group, it's a group of companies with 40 years of experience in different environmental and healthy services around the world. I mean, we are established in Spain, but we are also providing services, and we have companies in Portugal, Morocco, and Turkey. And as you said, Daniel, we have a biomass factory in Ciudad Real. It's more or less in the center of Spain, and this in the heart of the bigger vineyard spot in the world. So there are about 400 hectares of vineyard plantations, and the production of this biomass is about 800,000 tons a year of these agricultural prunings that has a really good physicochemical parameters, and the calorific value and other chemical composition of the biomass is very good, but we have a big problem with the way of collection. The farmers, they collect this biomass by using a system that brings together the prunings with the different contaminants, let's say. For example, stones and sand, different metals, also and plastics. And also we find the same with the traditional way of plantation removals that brings a lot of stones and sand with the roots. That's why we were working a lot in the designing of a methodology to clean this biomass, so we can get the potential of this interesting biomass, and we can remove all these contaminants. In these contaminants can be up to 20% or 30% that will bring us an ash content that is not affordable. And this is the equipment. We call it a cleaning system for biomass, and it's a wet system, so we use water, and then by the difference in density with the boots and the stones and other contaminants, we can separate it properly. And this is the final content of the parameters of the biomass, so we can comply with the different regulations on standards for this kind of biomass with an ash content below 3%, and that's probably mainly for an industrial use, but we are also working it with different boilers in 80, 100 kilowatts boilers. That's quite interesting uptake, not just as pellet, as you said, but also as wood chips. And for the pelletizing process, it's key to have a clean biomass, as you may know. But also for the wood chips, it's interesting to reduce the percentage of ash content, because I will tell you later that we are working in a full circularity model to uptake these agricultural residues and to valorize the ash as a fertilizer. So it will be important if we are going to use the ash from the biomass combustion as a fertilizer, that we clean before the biomass, so we will have a better composition of the ash, so we can comply with the fertilizer regulations. At the end, what we have here is an economic issue. If we collect this biomass with all these contaminants, the economic value will be very low. I mean, we are talking about, let's say, 25 or 30 euros per ton. That's nothing for this kind of biomass shredding, and it's not worth it to work with these figures. But if we can clean it, we can increase the price. We can increase the value up to 50%, and then maybe we can be in the range of 45 or 50 euros per ton. for these wood chips in district heatings or industrial production. That will also produce savings in the biomass buyers. So that will save money to the biomass buyers and will give an opportunity to increase the value for the biomass providers. That's a key aspect because both parties will be benefit from this business model. Of course, there are other greenhouse gases emissions and toxic pollutants that are being produced by the open burning of these prunings. That's something that we all know, and that reason should be just enough to follow this kind of processes, but still we are waiting for the final regulation of the burning prohibition. In this case, I wanted to focus on the ash content and the ash composition of this clean biomass from agricultural residues, because at the end, we will be bringing again to the soil the inorganic compounds that we were taking from the plants, from the prunings. Okay, so it's a really full circular economy process that will bring back these inorganic components by giving also a value to this ash from biomass. That's a big problem for the biomass-fired power plants, and it's a high cost for them. And if we can process it properly to produce an ash that will be used as a fertilizer, that will be also saving for the biomass power plants and a potential new income for the managers. No? Also, this biomass can be used for other uses like material recovery, like cellulose or biostimulants, or directly as a compost. We have an example with the Live Sarmiento. It's a live project that was developed in Murcia. And also as biofuels, as we were part of the project Biosfera EU project recently. But these uses are still in the early research stages, let's say. So nowadays what we have is that bioenergy production can be solved by this agricultural biomass uptake, but we need to take into account that we have to focus on the quality of biomass by cleaning processes. And that's all. Okay. Thank you very much.
It's great to have also this innovative practice here. I think is a key factor to allow the use of some biomasses that otherwise would be so much mixed with soil and stones. So now we start part 2, transformation of biomass into bioenergy, syngas and biocoals. I would like to ask Xavier Mas to switch on camera and share screen. Hello, Xavier.
Yes, of course. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. So Xavier is responsible of research and development at SYNGAS. He's engineer by the University of Valencia, and he's specialized in industry boilers of thermal oil, steam, water, and in using biomass. He counts on with more than 15 years of experience at SYNGAS in the development of innovative solutions for the industry, and he has developed and patented the innovation presented today, the Horizon Plus rotary and self-cleaning boiler. Really a unique solution, also applicable for agro-industry, as you will see in rural areas. So the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here with you to have this short talk. And I would like to say also thank you to my colleagues from Avebiom and CERTH to give us this opportunity. As my introduction mentioned, my name is Xavier Mas. I'm the technical director from SYNGAS. I'm here to talk about an innovation that we call Horizon. It's important to say at this point that it's an equipment that is in all over the world, many cities. Like for example, you can see here the picture from Exeter welcome to my presentation. Okay, we have other kind of cities like Paxton and many others in Spain, like Sevilla, Valencia, Donostia, etc. But all these projects, the most important thing is that all these projects were developed for different objectives. But the solution that SYNGAS implemented finally was always the same. So the fact is really easy. As you can see, the industry of the energy generation with the combustion of solid fuels has always the same problem. The problem is that the one that you can check now at the pictures. These are heat exchangers that we use to generate that energy. And when we burn this kind of material with some percentage of ashes, at the biomass, we can follow that more or less can be from 0, 1% until 7%, 3% is the normal. Then we have the market of the residues, like, for example, the chicken manure or chicken litter that arrives until 30%. Okay, so, or the RDF, for example, is 30%, 40%. So the point is that it doesn't matter what kind of technology we use to clean these equipment. The biomass industry, as you can see at the video file, we have this convective exchanger that was working as should work. The performance was good. Everything was accepted. The market accepts this kind of elements, but this is the quantity of ash and sand that you can follow inside of it. And during the operation, this is what we are going to follow inside of the exchangers. So, and this is only for the biomass that has a 3%, 5% of ashes. So what happens in the other markets? At the farms, for example, for the chicken manure or the RDF, what are the main limitations that for an investor is going to check always? What are the factors that they're going to check always? The OPEX is something that is one of the most important things. It's important to understand that each time that the ashes are more present in that fuel, the maintenance is going to increase. For example, in the plant that we have that biomass, we have more than 8,000 hours to the operation that plant. The problem is in the plants that we have, and we are using that kind of the chicken litter or chicken manure. The problem is that in that plant, what we can follow is that with the normal technologies, we will be forced to work with stop and the maintenance and clean all that equipment every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. And the other factor that is really important is the performance losses. The performance losses is really important because even with that kind of stops that we will follow, and I mentioned in the last point, we are going to be impossible to leave as the beginning that equipment. The tubes, the pipes are going to be dirty always. So this represents a loss of efficiency that it's normal, and the market, as I said before, accepts. So the problem is that there will be real cases like the air chicken or farms where they will be forced to use gas or diesel or kerosene to generate that thermal energy that they need through their own process. The truth is that the 30% access in the chicken manure or chicken litter is a potential argument to stop a normal energy plant to clean every 2 weeks. But with SYNGAS proposal, there are farms now using the chicken litter and manure, and they will be able to pay the initial investment in only 3-4 years, depending always of the prices of the petrol fuels. So how is the way that SYNGAS solve this kind of situation? SYNGAS understood that the best way to show you how it works, our technology, our innovation, is present in a video file that you can follow at YouTube or SYNGAS webpage. As you can see, in the presentation, the most representative characteristic on the innovation is the rotation. It's nothing else. It's so simple as you are listening. In our innovation, we will maintain the initial performance and initial designs that we have in this kind of equipment during the last 100 years. And this was on purpose. Our engineers understood that they didn't want to go far from the original designs because they understood that this is something that the market has confidence. And this works in the same way. The flue gases, as you can see, are going with all the flying ashes inside the tubes. And our engineers understood that only with the rotation, and this is the only difference that we can have here, we are making a path where, for example, if we throw a stone, particles, sand, or something like that, we are going to force these particles to travel through all the entire circuit until the final. If we make the rotation, the only thing that we need to do in that case, it was to swing the tubes in the direction that we want, as you are watching now in the pictures, in the video file. So as an additional comment, we are realizing that during the development of this technology, that the self-cleaning system with sand was not necessary with fuels without sticky components, because the own acids make an erosion that we need to clean that tubes, and it is not necessary the sand. As I say, if it is not necessary, it is not necessary if the fuels doesn't have that sticky ashes. Finally, it's important to point out that this innovation has opened the waste recovery market to all kinds of potential usable fuels. For example, any waste with a high ash content or high degree of sticky acids. I'm talking exactly about, for example, fuels like, for example, chicken manure, or chicken poultry, chicken litter, RDF, the market of the residue, or any other fuels you dare to challenge our technology. Thank you very much to listen to CEDER-CIEMAT, and I will be really happy to answer any question that you could have at this moment.
Thank you, Xavier. I think it's interesting also to tell that this technology we have seen in video is already in practice. I think it's already 4 plants built, and if I understood well correctly, already more coming. So it's been in use recently, isn't it?
Yes, of course. I tried to tell it during the presentation, but it's hard because it was only 5 minutes. Okay, but yes, we have some plants at UK and some plants at Spain that are working, and today they are being able to return that payment for the initial plan, as I said before at the presentation, in 3-4 years, depending on the price of the petrol fuels. That means that they are saving that money that they should use to pay the petrol, the gas, the diesel, the kerosene. They are using to pay the plant. Okay, and in 3-4 years, they are having the returning of that payment. Okay, and they are burning his own residue. The chicken litter, the chicken, I know that the chicken litter, chicken manure, they always, they can always sell it, but there's something really problematic to the planet, the chicken manure.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution, Xavier. Virginia Perez is next presenter. Virginia is chemical engineer with PhD on cleaning tars in gasification flue gases through the University of Valladolid and its headquarters in Soria. She works at the Center for the Development of Renewable Energy, CEDER-CIEMAT, seated in Soria, and she has more than 16 years of experience in gasification of biomass and waste. And she has been behind the development of this pilot plant that you will see, including the design of the gasifier. So the floor is yours, Virginia.
Thank you, Daniel, for the presentation, and also Maider for the organization, and also for giving us the opportunity to present our project in this interesting event. I will talk about the integration of solar drying and gasification in the valorization of sludge at full-scale pilot plant that is framed in the Live Dry for Gas project. It is a new environmental sustainable treatment to process sewage sludge from wastewater treatment plants. The problem it solves is related to the fact that conventional sludge management, usually in agricultural applications, involves some problems related to, on the one hand, to the increasingly demanding legislation related to the microbiological limits, and also with the upcoming update of the directive of the year 86 of application of sewage sludge on lands, and also with the high logistics and management costs that are related mainly with the high content of humidity in the sewage sludge, that is almost 85% at least of water. So we have to transport water instead of sewage sludge. So conventional sludge management is limited and costly. So this project can try to reduce this. This project involves the integration of 3 technologies: solar drying, gasification, and renewable electricity recovery through an organic ranking cycle. In addition, the biochar obtained in the gasification process is used in agriculture, specifically in grapefruit cultivations. In this way, the cycle is closed, so we contribute to the circular economy. This project is being carried in a demonstration prototype in San Javier in Murcia, wastewater treatment plant, and treats all the sludge produced in that plant, that is of 30,000 equivalent inhabitants. At the moment is in the startup phase, and the difference with other technologies are related to for one, comparing to agricultural application, composting, landfill, or incineration, are that this process is an on-site treatment in the same plant that we produce the sewage sludge. Also, we reduce the CO2 emissions due to the fact that we don't have to transport the sewage sludge. It contributes also to the circular economy, obtain renewable energy in the form of electricity through the organic ranking cycle, and also although the economic investment is important, the cost of the operation is lower than in other practices. So I think it's a good alternative. In terms of the contribution to the rural bioeconomy, we have to say that this project is easily to replicate in other places. Additionally, in small rural areas, it can be made as a management center for several wastewater treatment plants. So other wastewater treatment plants transport their sewage sludge to the main center, and also can be used in other sectors with using other biomass that has the same problems. For example, pig slurry. So I think it's very important, this fact. And here I present the work team that is made up of 6 Spanish companies. And to conclude, if I still have time, I would like to show you a video. I don't know. the solar dryer. Here, this video is taken a few months ago, so at this moment we are at the commissioning phase. Here is the control process of the solar dryer. In this part is going to be the dry sewage sludge, and here are small holes of air to dry it. We have also radiant floors in the surface of the solar dryer. Here is a system for recovery of the thermal energy in the process of drying. And here we accumulate the dryer sewage sludge and goes to the gasifier. That at that moment it wasn't built, but at this moment is built. And here is the combustion chamber where we burn the syngas of the process, and afterwards there is a organic cranking cycle with a small turbine to produce renewable energy. The biochar used in the gasification can be used in agricultural applications. And this is the plan. I think it's quite big, so it's for 30,000 inhabitants, equivalent inhabitants. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to see also in practice that this pilot plant is in reality, and I think probably in October, November we will have you will have the first results for the functioning and viability of this demo plant, isn't it?
Yes, I hope so.
We go to our last two practices. The first one with José Antonio Lacal. He is industrial engineer in the University Polytechnic University of Madrid, executive MBA and PhD in the University of Jaén. He has been working already for more than 20 years in different fields related to biomass and bioenergy, and even in two energy agencies in Jaén and Castilla-La Mancha. He founded in 2014 Biolisa to provide consultancy on biomass and byproducts from the olive oil sector, and they have been a key actor to promote the practice we are seeing today, this Guadalentín gasification plant of olive pomace. So, José Antonio, good morning.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks to Avebiom for inviting me to participate in this webinar, especially Daniel and Mayder too. My name is José Lacal from Biolisa in Spain, as Daniel told. I'm going to share our experience in the field of bioeconomy in rural areas. In this case, in non-olive oil industry in a municipality in the province of Jaén, located at the south of Spain, called Pozolcón. The experience has consisted of proposing a technological solution based on gasification to improve the management of one of the main important byproducts of the olive oil industry, the wet olive pomace. The wet olive pomace, also called alperujo in the Spanish language. I hope you find it interesting. This is the opportunity. As you can see on the screen, this is of raw material. It's fantastic raw material, very, very common in the Andalusia municipality, because we have more than 1,050,000 hectares of olive tree, around the Andalusia, mainly in the province of Jaén, Granada, and Córdoba. Yes, Daniel has presented to me. I will continue introducing Biolisa. Biolisa is a spin-off or knowledge-based company established on 2014 from the University of Jaén, where I am an associate professor from 25. We design, develop, and implement solutions for biomass and waste recovery based on emerging technologies as gasification, as very important under circular economy models, not for producing electricity or thermal energy in the middle of the field, not under circular bioeconomic models, as you can see later. We provide consulting, engineering, and specific training services on bioenergy at a national and international level. Fine. Next, I would like to explain how we work and what our value proposition is. It's very important to understand this slide. For one side, we have waste and biomass specification, type, quantity, seasonality, mine physical and chemical properties, etc. For the other one, we have the energy demands of the final consumer. Thermal for steam and hot water and power, local site regulation, auxiliary facility. And our main role is to join them, to go to a gasification project to recover the biomass and waste producer and to give energy for self-consumption. It's the case of business model, which is based on circular bioeconomy. Bioeconomy because our raw material is from organic biomass. Basically biomass. We are working to in waste to energy field, but basically biomass. Why it's interesting also value proposal? Because we have competitiveness, reducing cost and income generation of new opportunity. It's because a strategic solution for self-sufficiency energy consumption is doing this innovation solution. Finally, because we promote the sustainability, emission reduction, no waste reduction, energy efficiency. Okay. Before going into the matter, I would like to make some comments about the context on the project, which is very important to understand it. The situation was the increase in energy costs for companies, electricity, gas, a high consumption of fossil sources, climate change, dependency, the pressure regulatory towards sustainability, the need to reduce the carbon footprint for the companies. And finally, the image marketing of the goals of 2030 aging, etc. No? Really, we identify an opportunity, not a problem. The current management of wet olive palm, which is the most important byproduct for the olive oil industry, it's an opportunity for bioeconomy in rural areas. As you can see in the picture, it's a very complex biomass with a high level of humidity over 65%. Very abundant. The objective was to transform this biomass into energy, thermal and electrical, and for this gasification was the ideal technology. The old scenario was an industry which produced wet olive palm and which is storage in a pool. And the promoter, Mr. Virgilio Gomez, is looking for alternative every year to find the best solution. In the current scenario, we convert the wet olive palm into SYNGAS and biochar, as you can see later. The first objective is this to produce a syngas. The composition is, as you can see in the slide, it's not very good fuel because they have a low content of methane. The calorific value is about 1,300 kilocalories normal cubic meter. That's interesting. Interesting because on site there is not any energy source. We obtain 2 biochar, which is interesting. With a high fixed carbon content, about 66%, and with high caloric value, about 6,000 kilocal per kilogram on dry passes. This is a picture also of this biochar because we pelletize our raw material. It's an innovation, absolutely, because we are able to translate from the industry to agro-food, to rural areas, in the middle of the space and the field, the gasification, emergency technology. For the reason is very, very important this project because contains very innovation. It's a downdraft gasification system because it has a lot of advantage. It's useful for a wide range of biomass and residues, versatility for electricity, power, steam, green hydrogen, thermal energy, modularity and scalability, easy to build, assembly and operate, and with high energy efficiency, over 65%. We can use gasification with a range of biomass and waste very huge. Give bagasse, wood oil pomace, as in the case of organic waste, sugarcane bagasse, wood chips, municipal solid waste, shitty sludge, as the Energia comment, etc. Finally, I will comment the main magnitude of the project, and I will show you some image. As you can see in the slide, this is the gasification power plant for 4.3 thermal megawatts. The customer, as Daniel has said, is ATHISA Biogenic. Well, here is a video elaborated by Avebiom. It's on YouTube. If you can share it. The main figure of the project, we use an input of 750,000 tons a year. We produce 4.3 megawatts thermal syngas with a 62% efficiency for an electrical power 800 kilowatts and 1.4 megawatts thermal, and a production of biochar about more than 1,000 tons a year. I will end with some conclusion. Well, the gasifier with the filter, back filter, cooler, or the SYNGAS genset, 2 Wasco or Siemens engine to produce electricity and thermal energy for self-consumption. Well, I will end with some conclusion. We are talking about circular economy, employment, technology, innovation, the rural development, the opportunity, of course, and sustainability, CO2 reduction emission. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. If you have some question, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, José Antonio. As always, very interesting and very easily to follow what you have done. I also encourage you to visit the webpage of INtercamBIOM branches, where we have the documentation of the case and also the videos of that exemplify much better. But also we are producing with the Biolisa and Aceites Guadalentin some further materials on the cycle of innovation. We have the last speaker, Claudio. Good afternoon. Claudio Mander is agronomist representing Trinity Biocarbon. With 35 years of experience, Claudio Mander has worked in grain, cattle, and forest production, grain exports, and since 2010 is working on wood pellet production and other biomass uses. He's founder of BIPS, the Biochar Initiative Platform Spain, and now is working with Trinity Biocarbon on the project that he's going to present next. So thank you very much for being here, Claudio, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Avebiom, for the invitation and for the participants to be here to see the presentation I have for you now. What we actually do is promote the use of biochar to integrate with different value chains that have stream of residues, usually coming from agriculture and agro industries that process different materials. In this case, what I want to show you is the integration of our system with the biomethane plant. Actually, is a project that is under development and that we hopefully will be producing, we start producing in January 2025. The idea in Trinity Biocarbon is we are a group of professionals that are developing the use of biochar and have a technology that can be able to produce at industrial level in order to achieve impactful results in carbon removal and also in soil health improvement. Trinity Biocarbon is developing its first project in Egypt. The project is going to start producing in January 2024. The capacity will be about 10,000 tons of biochar per year, processing approximately 40,000 tons of biomass. And the idea is to expand the technology in different locations, especially in the EU and in Africa and in the Middle East countries. We basically produce from biomass. We can produce three different outputs. One is the energy, second is the biochar, and then we also produce CO2 certificates under EBC certification that can be sold in the voluntary market. As you may know, biochar is a solid material that comes from pyrolysis of biomass. It has a lot of good effects on soil quality, and we can use it to improve, especially organic matter content, improve water holding capacity, also improve cation exchange capacity in the soil, and in this way reduce the amount of traditional fertilizers that are used, and also reduce the total CO2 emissions in the agricultural sector. Working with a biomethane plant allows us to use the byproducts they produce, that usually is digestate, and also some technologies produce a liquid concentrate with like 30% of organic matter content in it. And through our process, we again can use those materials to produce the certificates, the heat, and the soil amendments for the farms. In that area, what we do is we have different types of testings we do in the soils, and we design the amendments exactly for the soil condition that we face in each area. In this case, in the biomethane plant, the idea is that we can produce in the farms cellulosic material for the biomethane plant, and that way we close the circle, and everything remains as local as we can, and we increase the total value of the system and the goods that are generated. For you to have an idea, on the first site that we are going to build here in Spain, we are going to process about 40,000 tons of biomass. We can produce 33,000 megawatts of energy per year, removing 17,500 tons of CO2, and producing about 7,000 tons of biochar, 70,000 tons of soil amendments that can be used in about 35,000 hectares. We have the possibility of develop this type of projects depending on what is the situation on each site. So basically the process to assess a site and understand what are the problems and the sizing of the project and the possibility of the solutions that we can bring includes the pre-feasibility study, that we need to understand exactly how is the movement of the different residue streams. Then we design the project that can be designed according to the availability of biomasses in each site. We have a deep knowledge on the technology of pyrolysis that allows us to produce biochar with a very reasonable capex and opex costs. And then we structure the project not only in the design itself, but also in the funding, in the management, and exactly how is the final design of the project for the site. This is the facility, the testing facility and the laboratory that we have in Cairo, in Egypt, where we can test different biomasses, different processes, and a lot of investigation has already been done on the possibility of how to process the biomasses and produce biochar and soil amendments. We are not only thinking on producing biochar for agriculture, but also biochar for other uses. And we can also interact with other value chains, like, for example, district heatings, or any place where heat may be needed at this size of a project, and possibilities to process these quantities of biomass. Thermal energy available becomes an important part of the solution. So that's what we do. We are available to receive any consultation or questions you may want to ask about us. I invite you to visit our webpage, where you will have more information. And also, of course, I encourage you to look for us at the BIPS, at the Biochar Initiative platform that we founded like 3-4 months ago to push the development of the use of biochar in different parts of the economy. So this is it. And there you have the contact details, and we are available for any consultation you may have.
Thank you very much, Claudio. It's a pleasure to also count with you to close the cycle and also have a specific speech on biochar, and really great the initiative you are promoting in Spain, large, like this 70,000 biochar, tons of biochar you aim to produce and to integrate with several farms.
7,000 tons of biochar. 70,000 are the amendments.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. And then so it's great the business model you have described, and we hope to see you to see this in practice soon. So Maider, I think we are done. So are there any questions, anything? The floor is yours, of course, as organizer.
If any of the participants wants to ask any question, I don't see any in the chat. In any case, as we mentioned at the beginning of the seminar, all presentations will be uploaded in the webpage of the network. And as Claudio is showing, you have the contacts for each one of them, so you can later on contact each one of the presenters if you have any doubts or questions that you would like to ask them. Okay. Since there are any questions, I think we can go to the closure. Thank you, especially to all the presenters, to be kind enough to share their innovations with all of us, and also, of course, to all presenters, participants attending the online seminar. Just a quick message: there will be other online seminars that will be performed by in this case, the German National Thematic Network, and also by Dimitri. It was Dimitri who was gonna.
No, yeah, by the RBA. I mean, the RBA will also organize webinars like this in future related to bioeconomy. So linked to what we see today, they will continue, not only branches.
Okay, and also Manolis have, through Daniel, Manolis has shared with you a letter. I think it's worth to give it a try and just read it, and in case sign it if you think it appropriate. Well, that's everything from our side. Thank you very much to all, and we will keep you updated with this innovative practice. Okay.
Yeah, and we will send when we have the video and the PowerPoints, we will share with all the attendants. Is it right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, great.
So thank you very much and have a nice day.